Hello, I'm your host, the Unlucky Moviegoer, and our story today is about a man who would seemingly battle the whole world in order to protect his family. Oh, also, he has superpowers. We open to meet Roo Mi-shin, a young restaurant owner whose food looks banging. We learn she was abandoned by her father and was raised by a struggling mother. Rumi is then seen sleeping in a restaurant when men in hard hats suddenly and successfully barge in. They're armed with bats and drag her outside. Her mother drives in to save the day and gets absolutely yeeted, but it seems mom don't play that, cause she hops back in the car and tries to get her GTA on. Unbeknownst to her, it seems our hard hat friends put all of their skill points in dexterity, because she misses them all spectacularly. They drag mom out of the car and accidentally drop her on her head. Everyone in the area, including the hard hat boys, begin to freak out, cause mom is not waking up. We cut to a hospital and it seems mom got hurt a lot more than we thought. We cut between her and a meteor crashing into a spring, then a man drinking from said spring. This man is Seok-hyun. He's a fun-loving kleptomaniac of a security guard. He also doesn't seem to be the most noble of men, as he runs away when he watches a cleaning lady he was joking around with earlier get berated for all the things that he stole because she got caught this once. My man knocks back some soju, then starts to lose it. He starts exhibiting some strange abilities, then passes out. Seok arrives at his bachelor pad and discovers his abilities, but then gets distracted by a call. It's his daughter. You guessed it, the restaurant owner from earlier, Roo Mi-shin. She called to inform him that her mother has passed away. He arrives at the funeral and at first does not even recognize his own daughter. They speak, and before any heartfelt things can be said, the thugs from earlier shamelessly barge in. Rumi fearlessly uses the ability Slow Headbutt on one of the thugs. She then starts to clown his hair. We meet the presumed leader of the gang, Mr. Min, who claims that her mother's untimely death was her own fault. An enraged Rumi starts to shove Mr. Min. Another scuffle ensues and is broken up by this guy. Then Mr. Min offers Rumi condolence money while vocalizing his own deep condolences. She throws the money in his face and curses him out. As they leave, one of the goons throws down a wreath and, if I'm not mistaken, makes a slurping noise. I swear that's the audio from the movie, not just me getting excited. Rumi then kindly tells Pop to bounce. The man who broke up the fight from earlier introduces himself in semi-beta fashion as Jong Hyun Kim, attorney at law. He explains to Pop that a company named Tai-san has hired Mr. Min and his gang to ransack local shop owners as they want to gentrify the district. Seok-hyun walks home upset and accidentally flexes his powers. He gets home and runs some more tests and comes to find out that these new powers are legit. The shop owners all console Rumi and exclaim that the thugs are still running amok. Rumi suggests standing guard in case the thugs return, and Seok-hyun displays that he has the social skills of a redditor. He interrupts the group discussion and says that they won't be able to do anything and tells them all to give up. He gets chewed out and is asked to leave. Seok then gets a job as a magician, quite easily in fact. Rumi and Jong speak to a prosecutor and explains that they do not have enough evidence to prosecute Tai-san because they seem to be paying people off. Jong then attempts to put the moves on Rumi in true beta fashion by doing exactly what I would do, saying you'll walk her to her car, her saying she's fine, insisting on doing it anyway, then running away awkwardly. The wrong way, in fact. Attaboy. Seok speaks to Rumi in private and tells her she should go back to school because he can support her as a magician. She understandably tells him he's tripping. She tells him he has no right to come back into her life in a flurry of tears. Just then, Mr. Min's gang approaches the shopping district. The shop owners begin to barricade the doors.
Fudge.
The shop owners begin to barricade the doors as the thugs rush in, smashing everything in their path. The shop owners fight back and an absolute brawl ensues. Seok comes in and nukes these gentlemen like he's a whole anime protagonist, then proceeds to do the same with these gentlemen. This man comes in hot and Seok makes an example out of him. The police come in and bring everyone to the station. Both sides calmly try to explain their sides of the story. Mr. Perm from earlier shows a videotape of the altercation, with their assaults excluded of course. Mr. Min tries to explain the situation but obviously sounds like he's tweaking. Rumi cleverly takes this opportunity to slander Mr. Min, claiming he's trying to fool everyone. The officer tells everyone to leave. But it seems Sok isn't done with these scrubs, as he terrorizes the thugs while also barricading the street, whilst also sporting some fancy footwork in the process. We cut to the gang coming in to tell Mr. Min they quit out of fear. Mr. Min ignores them because he gets a call from Tai-san telling him they want to have a meeting tomorrow. Mr. Min enters the meeting and we get to see firsthand the wealth of Tai-san. The director lady who was berating the maid from earlier comes in. Her name is Miss Hong. She's a little strange. She then calls in some grown men and this lady. They start inexplicably putting the hands on Mr. Min. I mean, she's really going to town. She even starts to style on him a little bit, trying out new combo moves and everything. All the while, Miss Hong confusingly switches up and starts pleading for her life while recording herself. It seems she's building up blackmail evidence against Mr. Min, just in case he fails her. We quickly see their dynamic play out as Mr. Min apologizes for inconveniencing the manic waifu for the absolute thrashing that he just took. Miss Hong explains that she's upset about how long things are taking with the forced eviction, while Mr. Min explains that Sok and his powers are the root cause of the problem. Miss Hong explains that she'll take care of Sok, and that Mr. Min has 2 days to complete the eviction. We cut to the shop owners having lunch while they watch the news. A weapons specialist proclaims that Sok is wielding a weaponized shockwave device he must have obtained from North Korea, obviously lying through his teeth and seemingly bought out by Tai-san. The shop owners even seem to become a little skeptical of Sok. Dang, money really does make the world go round. Police officers come to arrest Sok for stealing from his employers, which, well, I guess he kind of did, but they do seem to be a little sketch about it. This seems to be Miss Hong's doing. While Sok is gone, the police and the gang come to the shopping district in full force. Rumi informs Jong that they are not giving up. Miss Hong has a conversation with Sok. She gets straight to the point. She offers to hire him for his abilities. All the while, a battle ensues at the shopping district as the owners throw Molotov cocktails at the popo. The cops and the gang tear down the barricades to the shopping district and Rumi goes back to help this guy. She saves him. Back to Manic Waifu as she gives Sok an ultimatum. Work for her or be branded a criminal. Back again to the shoppers who are running for the roof of a building while the cops are in hot pursuit. We see Sok borrow this cop's phone and get a glimpse of the shopping district disaster. He starts turning things up in his rage. This guy brings out the blicky but to no avail. Sok confronts Miss Hong and messes up her whip. He shows her he doesn't need one of his own and hits the boosies, but he needs a little practice. He tries a little more gently, then manages full-on flight this time. One of the shoppers gets bodied and is about to take a massive L, while still getting doused. Dang, brutal. He says his prayers and they seem to be answered, cause Sok comes in to save the day. Sok jumps into the fray and puts hands on the cops. They had him in the first half, but he prevails. Jong comes in the clutch, but the cops still have tricks up their sleeves and capture Rumi. Sok is about to style on this last guy, but instead takes to the roof. The cops start jumping him, but clearly they've never watched anime. He dispatches them once more. The container Rumi is in comes loose, but she still attempts to save a cop. Now that's a hero. Sok starts to get a hold of his new powers and saves all the shoppers. Sok also saves all the cops, but Rumi falls to her death. Just kidding. Didn't I tell you my man Sok got the boosties? He reunites her with the shoppers and then bids them farewell. Rumi cries. Sok flies in to talk to Mr. Min. No one wants to smoke, but I guess Mr. Min does, so well, he gets it. Sok turns himself into the police, and this brave officer takes him in. Apparently he's been locked up for 4 years. He's walking down a road when a late Jong picks him up. Jong informs him in classic awkward fashion that he's getting married to Rumi. See, there's hope for us losers yet. The pair drive to Rumi, who seems to have been thriving. She asks her dad for help. So he uses his magic powers to serve some beer. Turns out the restaurant is named Superpowers Chicken. The end.